Hello and welcome to the second video in my Declutter with Me video series. Today, we're tackling the kitchen, which can be challenging but well worth the effort. I've found that having a simple, minimal kitchen helps me save money and reduce waste. So I hope this video will give you a few ideas to make the most of your kitchen. Before I start, I want to mention that if you are interested in what I have in my kitchen, there's a link to my shop page below, which includes affiliate links to many of the essential items I use. If you're interested in even more details, I also recently released a mini workshop on all my zero waste kitchen swaps on my Patreon community. I go over all the things I use in my kitchen to reduce waste, give an honest review, and explain the how-tos. If you'd like to support the work I do on this channel, you can join for $3 or $5 a month to access that exclusive content. Otherwise, liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell is something I'd love for you to do and already appreciate. So with that, let's start decluttering. To start, I'm going to do the basics. There's still some food on the stove to put away and dishes to clean. Beginning with a few quick wins is an easy way to keep morale up, and cleaning up after our last meal should only take me about 10 minutes. I've learned that small bursts of cleaning throughout the day helps a lot, so you don't have a large mess at the end of the day that seems too challenging to tackle. Once cleanup is squared away, the first area I'll declutter is the open pantry. I have various dry bulk goods, spices, and raw cleaning ingredients here. I've taken a piece of paper to take inventory of ingredients that I haven't used in a long time or maybe forgotten. Doing so allows me to remember what foods I need to use first, and shopping through what I already have will help me as I meal prep for the week and come up with recipes to make. There isn't too much to declutter in this area as dry bulk goods have a long shelf life, but my list will come in handy to help prevent any potential food waste. Once I've taken some notes on my list, I will do a wipe down of the pantry. Decluttering is the perfect opportunity to remove everything so you can adequately clean areas. It gets dusty over time, so it's always good to wipe down the jars and lids as well. I'll also work on labeling all the jar lids with approximate dates of purchase and the ingredient name, so Peter and I know what everything is before we reach in for specific spices or jars of ingredients. This is something I used to do pretty regularly, but I stopped when things got busy. I've also noticed that I can combine some of my spice jars. Sometimes I get things in bulk that are too big for these mason jars, so I end up needing to use two. But now it's time to consolidate and wash up the empties. The last two shelves of the open pantry hold all my empty jars, cleaning ingredients, and some additional jars I save for when I host in-person workshops. It's good to get up here to finally dust things and label them as well. Now that I've checked in on the pantry, next is the freezer and fridge. It's good to do regular check-ins with this area of your kitchen so you can avoid a massive declutter of food items, as most of these items are going to be fresher and spoil much more fast than dry goods. I'm going to take my lists and continue to check what needs to be cooked first. In our freezer, there's not too much besides our ice packs from food deliveries, frozen compost, cookies for Christine's Cookie Co., which I'm saving for later photo shoots, and some yeast and butter. We store a lot of used brown paper bags for our frozen compost, so I'm just going to organize them a bit, wipe down the freezer, and put it back in neatly. If anything, that yeast made me excited to try baking some bread again. Next is the fridge. It's not too full as we're about to get groceries soon, but I'll take my list again to write down what needs to be cooked first. This is also the perfect opportunity to give the fridge a good wipe down, so I'm taking out the produce bins to clean. To finish it off, I'll wipe off the fridge's top and sides as they've also gotten a bit dusty. Now it's time to move into the kitchen cabinets. I'll first tackle the utensil drawer, which simply needs to be cleaned. We use all of our utensils, so no need to declutter anything here. The next drawer contains some of my baking equipment. I'm taking everything out also to wipe it down. I still use all these items too, but notice I had a manual for my pasta attachments which I got when I bought them used, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that from the drawer since I don't need them anymore. The third drawer is one that tends to get pretty messy. It's filled with all of our extra mason jar lids, food wax wraps, parchment paper, rubber bands, and more miscellaneous items. We managed to pull off the ends of our bamboo utensil organizer because it was too big for any of our drawers, and I ended up using those extra pieces to help organize these particular items. The last drawer of the section is our Tupperware. It stays pretty neat here, but I noticed that I don't use this bento tiffin box very much. As much as I love the concept of a cute metal bento, I'll put it into my declutter pile, as I'm sure someone else will put it to much better use than I have. Next is the first upper cabinet, which houses Cooper's belongings. From a quick scan, there isn't too much to declutter or organize, but I found a few expired medications that we'll take to the vet tomorrow for proper disposal, and his newspaper poop bags are looking a bit haphazard next to a stash of napkins that we've collected. So I've organized those a bit and put the napkins in an aluminum container, which has a few utensils that we unfortunately received with a few takeout orders. The cabinet next to Cooper's has all of our dishes, which I don't plan to declutter at the moment. I may declutter the white plates in time because they're not very sturdy and have shown to break quite easily and crack, but not today. On the opposite side are a few more food items. I'm taking my list and noting anything that should be used, and taking out an egg carton tray that doesn't need to stay there. We typically save egg cartons for reuse, but the tray isn't as functional. The other side of the cabinet has some water bottles, a lunch bag, coffee equipment for Peter, and his workout supplements. Peter doesn't take his protein powders anymore, and they have expired, so it's time to toss them. Most of the water bottles are also Peter's, which he doesn't want to declutter, so I'm going to go ahead and repurpose an extra one elsewhere. The last upper cabinet has some cooking supplies and medication. We use all of these items, so all there is to do is to reorganize and label some of the bottles. I'm also filling this repurposed kombucha bottle with some cooking wine that doesn't fit the upper cabinet because it's too tall. you can check out my Instagram page for how I upcycled some old kombucha bottles for cooking oils and cleaning supplies. The last drawers and cabinets by our oven don't need too much decluttering, but mostly a wipe down and reorganizing. I did find my mom's slow cooker, which we borrowed months ago and can probably give back when we see them again because it's been a while since we've used it. Finally, under the sink, we store bulk rice, dog food, cleaning supplies, and our waste and recycling. This needs a bit of reorganizing, but I'm finally going to consolidate some of our recycling that should be sent off to TerraCycle. The new year is the perfect time to send off these items which we've collected over time. A few hours later and the kitchen is decluttered. Mostly cleaned and reorganized, but I did manage to find a few things to consolidate and remove. Here are those things that I've chosen. First, a few things to repurpose. I have these cork tops for water pitchers that I don't use, but think would be great on top of a cute ceramic container if I can find one in the right size. I'm also going to repurpose this egg tray for packing material, and this extra water bottle will go to our commercial kitchen space for when we need water while we're baking cookies. Next are things to recycle. As mentioned, I'm going to be sending off some of the packaging we've collected for our TerraCycle programs to be recycled. We have some chip packaging and dog food packaging, but I also have a box of instrument strings to drop off at my local music shop and some electronics to research where to drop off. Last are Cooper's expired medications and the pasta attachment manual that I don't need. Finally are just a few miscellaneous items. First, I've meant to fix this fork. It bent in the dishwasher, but we have a friend who works in a lab that can bend it back straight. Second, the bento tiffin I don't use regularly will be sold to someone who can use it more than myself. Peter's protein powders will also be disposed of. This glass bottle recycled, and I'm going to return my mom's slow cooker. I also noted that we are looking into swapping out our pot for a larger one, but that's another project for later. With that, I look forward to using my newly decluttered, organized, and cleaned kitchen. Though I didn't declutter too much, it's good to take inventory, check what needed to be cooked, and make sure things were in order. I hope this video was a bit helpful and that you take some steps to declutter even the refrigerator or pantry of your home, as it's nice to also have that mental burden lifted to know what's actually in inventory. Appreciate you all watching and coming on this journey of simple and sustainable living with me. And let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions, questions, or anything else. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great one.